Namaste, Swagatam. Welcome everybody today's program. We have a very interesting program today. Obviously, we're going to talk about the liberation of Hindu temples in India. We're calling it as a new freedom movement because definitely the temples have been under this government rule for far too long. So we're going to talk about the freedom from government control. We do have Dr. Swamy, T.R. Ramesh of Temple Worshipper Society. Obviously, Dr. Swamy has been a pioneer and main person who has helped cause the temple thing, because without his landmark Sabanagar temple case, we will not be here where we are today. But before freedom fighters that we have not many people have heard of, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about Vanchinathan, a very famous Tamil martyr, freedom fighter. We're going to talk about him. He was born in 1886 on June 17th, and he was martyred on June 7th. 1886, and martyred on June 17th, 1911. We have a short video, so let's just play that video, and then you'll have a better idea as to have a better idea about Vanchinathan.
Vanchinathan, the name history forgot, but Bharat remembers. Vanchinathan was born in 1886 in a small town called Shenkottai in Tamil Nadu. He grew up in a religious Hindu family, learning values of dharma and patriotism from a young age. As he grew older, he was inspired by leaders like Swami Vivekanand and Lokmanya Tilak. He saw how the British were not just ruling India, but also interfering in temples and Hindu traditions. Temple festivals were restricted, pujas were taxed, and missionaries were encouraged to convert people. Vanchi couldn't stay silent. He joined a secret group called the Bharata Matha Association. Their goal was clear: to fight back against British injustice, even if it meant risking their lives. His target was Collector Robert Ashe, a British officer who had insulted Hindu customs and supported conversions. On 17 June 1911, at Maniachi railway station, Vanchi walked up to Ashe and shot him dead. Within seconds, before the police could catch him, Vanchi took his own life. He left a letter saying he gave his life for Bharat Mata. Years later, in honor of his sacrifice, the Indian government renamed the station as Vanchi Maniachi. He lived only 25 years but became immortal in the story of India's freedom. Vanchinathan didn't just fight the British, he stood for dharma, temples, and the soul of this nation. Let us remember him, not as a name in a book, but as a hero in our hearts.
Dr. Swamy, we're going to start the program now. As I said, viewers, we have Dr. Swamy, who is going to start by giving us his 10-minute talk about this subject, and then T.R. Ramesh will jump in after that. And then we will have a discussion Q&A. We will try to take as many questions as possible, but please stay to the topic, because every time we see the topic goes all over the place. Talk about why there is a rover on Mars and stuff like that. Just stick to the topic so that we can discuss this much more sanely, because we take a lot of effort to prepare and bring to you certain subjects, but then when there's so much of chaos going around in the comment section, it becomes very difficult for us to take questions. Sometimes you feel disappointed that why are we not taking purely relevance. Okay, just stick to what we are talking about today, and then we can jump in. Over to you, Dr. Swamy.
Thank you very much. I think let's also welcome T.R. Ramesh, who has made a tremendous name in Tamil Nadu in fighting for the rights of the temples to be independent of the government. And he's there doing almost every day one or the other court cases in various courts. Now, we will be hearing him shortly, and for his benefit, I'm going to give an overall picture of what we are interested in, and then hear from him what his views are on the matter and how we should proceed. First of all, I'd like to say that the basic concept, simple as it may seem, is that we want temples which are in the control of the government to be freed. Temples do not, government does not control any of the Islamic religious places, and nor the Christian places. But the temple, the British made it a rule somehow, because perhaps the Hindus were always going to temples in large numbers, or I don't know what it was, their perversion. But they took in a large number of temples, maybe almost 80% of the total temples in the country. Now, after independence, this was not reversed, and the Congress government under Jawaharlal Nehru continued this. And many of them felt that in the land of secularism, we should see that temples are controlled by government. But at the same time, if the secularism was the idea, then why not Islamic religious places and Christian religious places? Why they were not touched? So the fact of the matter is that the temple is not only a place for prayer, but it's a place for meeting people, coming together, watching Bharatanatyam in one of the kiosks. So it was a place for culture, and in that there was a place for temples. Now we have two kinds of temples. One which is where it is a place specific. So Ram Janmabhoomi, because it is where Ram was born, we fought for it on the grounds that we can't go anywhere else, because this is the place faith tells us Ram was born. The same thing with Krishna Janmabhoomi in UP, and so too the case of the in Varanasi. So these are three very, very important temples, and we have liberated one of them. We need to liberate the other two. We are not on this in this program. Maybe later on we will take up a special cases. But right now I would like to say that a first breakthrough came largely because of the inspiration of the Dayanand Saraswati Swami. He called me one day and he told me, you must take up this question of the Sabhanayaka temple. That is, there's a Shiva temple in South India. And Karunanidhi had many times said that my desire is to bring a cannon and blow up this temple. But he ultimately managed to nationalize that temple, in the sense that the government took it over. And at that stage, I went to the High Court and I lost there. And then suddenly, Dayanand Saraswati entered the picture and said, you will have to appear in the Supreme Court too. I said, well, in the Supreme Court, after this, at this state level, if we have lost in this way, I don't think the Supreme Court, they will entertain it. He said, no, you go, my prayers are with you. So I went and applied, and that's now known as SUBRAMANIAN SWAMY versus the state of Tamil Nadu. And it is a two-judge bench which decided, and it's called the Sabhanayaka temple case. And that is the foundation today on which we are going for other temples to be free. There must be about 40,000, 50,000 temples which are of value, which are under the government control. But there are those we can deal with in due course. But right now, my opinion is that we should get, not only now that we have freed Ram Temple, the area of Ram Temple, so that we can now rebuild it, and we are rebuilding it, but more that Krishna Temple and the Kashi Vishwanath Temple, these too also should be liberated and regenerated and built up again. So it is not something that the freedom fighters of India never thought of. Sardar Patel, for example, in in his state, he rebuilt a Shiva temple, and it was knocked down several times by the invading Muslim marauders. And so this is a sentimental question, and today we are fortunate to have a very well-known, so, who has left his normal um, job in a foreign company and left it, and now he's fully devoted to saving the temples, the pujaris, and so on in Tamil Nadu, which is the most difficult place to be doing these things. So we are going to hear him. I don't want to take too much time about it, but I will say this: that if you can ever get the chance I'm telling the people who are watching this function, this place, who are watching us, giving out the facts, I would say that one of the things you should do is the case of Sabanagar temple. This is a Shiva temple in Tamil Nadu, which Karunanidhi got nationalized, and I went to Supreme Court and got it clear. And that is a 2014 judgment, which you can get from the government, not only from the government, you can get from the Supreme Court productions of all these cases. So let me just read out what this result, this case, which I'll show you here, and the top is SUBRAMANIAN SWAMY versus the state of Tamil Nadu, and some others who came in later and joined me, but the entire Supreme Court judgment deals with what I said, and made it very clear, even in the first paragraphs, that they are only looking at Dr. Swamy's or my petition. Now, what it says is that the object and purpose is to consider the question as to whether temples should be taken over by government. And in that process, they have said many things. And I would like to read something which is in paragraph 65 of this judgment, which states the following. It says, 65 says, even if the management of a temple is taken over to remedy the evil of mismanagement, that is not about the temple, the sanctum sanctorum, nothing of that will be touched. But if there is mismanagement in the way the temple is being dealt with, it must be handed over to the person concerned immediately after the evil is remedied. So government can intervene if there is a non-religious aspect of the temple which has been taken over by the government and it is being used. So they say no, under no circumstances the government should be there. And if there is some fault or some corruption or something, clean it up and give it back to the pujaris once again. So this is what it says very clearly. And then it says the supervision of the rights of the administration cannot be of a permanent, enduring nature. Its life has to be reasonably fixed so as to counter terminus with the removal of the consequences of maladministration. That is, the government can take it over, but not too long, maybe 5 years, 6 years. The exact date is not clear. But after that, they should have cleaned up the place. They should have restored the sanctity of the finances, everything, and handed it back to the project. So what we find today is BJP, which in its manifesto says we are going to liberate all temples, is doing exactly the opposite. In Uttarakhand, 102 temples were taken over by the government. I went to court and I got it withdrawn, that takeover, and now the temples are free there. Now I'm the same way in Pandharpur in Maharashtra. I'm at it, and I'm sure that I'm going to win on that thing again, because that is the law in its real entity. So therefore, what this case, which is SUBRAMANIAN SWAMY versus the state of Tamil Nadu, which is by two judges, Chauhan and Bobre, and this is the Bible on which excuse me to use the word in Bible, maybe I should say the Mahabharata or the Gita, by which I am doing for others. But the nitty-gritty, the details and so on, our friend here, Ramesh, he is going to be able to tell us, and I'm going to hand it over to him very shortly, after adding that the main issue is that government should not touch temples. Now, why am I saying the government should not touch churches and masjids? Because no masjid, no church has been taken over by the government, either by the British government or by this government. The only target has been the Indian Hindu temples, because the Hindu temples was a place where people used to congregate and exchange views, have where they, of course, pray, but they were also have all kinds of other cultural activities, and it became a place of where people used to gather. So the British wanted to end that, and that's how they started from about 1853 to take over temples and loot all the jewels and so on and so forth that they could. But that today the BJP government is continuing, just like the previous government did, Congress government did, is something which is disturbing. And I think the public should know. One of the reasons we are holding this program is so the public should know that the BJP government led by Mr. Narendra Modi is ignored all the suggestions, the pleas that the members of the BJP party gave to him, and overruled them, they ignored them, and took over these temples, place after place. Only after the court has freed them, like in Uttarakhand and other places, that we are able to get the temples to be free. We are still on the final stages to free the temple in Maharashtra, and I'm hoping that very soon we will get a chance to announce that. But now I would hand it over right away to Ramesh and ask him what is the course he has been adopting in the state of Tamil Nadu, which is the most difficult state, because the Dravida movement is dead against Hindu religion, and therefore they have placed obstacles all over, sometimes even doing violent activities. So therefore, over to Ramesh. Please explain to us what you have been doing, in what way, and how we can help you.
Thank you, Dr. Swamy. Thank you very much. And when you say please explain to us, I'm sure you don't mean that I have to explain to you who have taught me everything in this subject. Basically, when the DMK government rushed to Chidambaram temple on 2nd February 2009 and took over the temple forcibly, within 12 hours or 24 hours, we were knocking Dr. Swamy's doorstep in Chennai, doors in Chennai. 3/2/2009, I vividly recall, I and a few Dikshithas went and met Dr. Swamy early in the morning and requested him to come and help in the Chidambaram temple matter and save the ancient community of Podu Dikshithas who have been serving the Chidambaram Nataraja temple for 20 centuries, the oldest, one of the oldest communities in Bharat, who have been doing the same social, cultural, and religious thing at one place, the Chidambaram town. So their culture is something like an intangible cultural heritage which UNESCO wants to protect. And it is an icon of Saivism also. As Dr. Swamy said, the Dravidian movement wants to bring cannons and blast this temple because it is an eyesore for them, this atheist and anti-Hindu party. So after the single judge's judgment, the appeal was there, and after the appeal also failed, Dr. Swamy filed the first case in the Supreme Court, and that's why even today it's called Dr. Swamy and others versus State of Tamil Nadu and others. The judgment is recorded in 2014, Volume 5, SEC, page 75. It is the Gita of temple liberation. The law was laid down by the Honorable two judges of the Supreme Court as to how and why a temple can be, or a religious institution can be taken over, and it can be always for a limited period. And the one of the finest lines in that judgment is the last paragraph, where the court said, "An order in which no period of operation is mentioned is ex facie arbitrary, illegal, and unjust." That means if the state government passes an order taking over a temple and it doesn't mention for how long it is taking over, then the very order is invalid.
Yeah.
A beautiful declaration by the Honorable Supreme Court, with which we should have freed all the temples across all the states, but we have not done it. One reason is we have Dr. Pujya Swami Dayan Saraswati's case filed with the blessings of Acharyas and the guidance of Dr. Swamy was languishing in Supreme Court for 13 long years. And to the shock of thousands and thousands of temple worshipping Hindus, serious Hindus, the case has now been relegated to the jurisdictional high courts. Justice has not only been delayed, it has been palpably denied. On 1st April, the Additional Solicitor General of the Union government sought to make fools of Hindus by saying this is a state subject. And the learned judges of the Supreme Court seem to take a cue from there and say, okay, let us send it to the respective courts and they can appreciate this matter better. But when the order comes, the final order comes saying that the high courts are in a better position to appreciate it, the judge also says high courts can appoint committee to help them. If high courts can appreciate the law better, why do they need a committee? Why should high court judges need some committee to interpret the constitutional provisions, articles? This judgment is actually goes against Hindu interest. In fact, it goes against an earlier judgment of the Supreme Court in the People's Union for Civil Liberties, where after 9 years, in 2013, the then Additional Solicitor General seeks the case to be transferred to the state high courts. The Supreme Court judge says, after 9 years, we won't do it. We will hear the matter under Article 32. The same should have happened in Swamiji's case, but it seems that a lot of people work towards consigning the cases back to high courts. Dr. Swamy very clearly on that day told the learned judges of the bench that certain matters have been already decided by the Chidambaram temple case, which he had filed. And the high court cannot, reconsider them. What the Supreme Court has declared as law cannot be gone through again by the high court. This is fundamental. This is basic thing. But For Hindus, any amount of beating can happen and nobody can question that. That's to be the 70-year history. In 1954, the Shirur judgment of 7 judges stated that a secular authority cannot take over the administration of a religious institution. But is that what we are seeing? From Tirupati to a platform temple, the HR&C departments of various states are controlling them. They decide when the consecration will happen. They decide how they will spend the surplus money. Today, right now in Tamil Nadu, civil works, unwarranted, illegal civil works and not permitted under the HR&C Act are being taken up at a huge cost of 5,000 crore rupees, which means funds accumulated through hundi monies and donations and other income of the temples over 10-20 years are being fast depleted by the Tamil Nadu government. Before 2026 elections, they want to deplete these funds in the name of civil works. And today in Tamil Nadu, the civil contracts cannot take place without a minimum kickback of 30%. And since the temples don't have even a proper audit by a chartered accountant and all that, or even an external audit, the looting will go unnoticed. There'll be nobody to question them. As it is, 1.8 million audit objections of the internal audit of HR&C department are pending resolution from 1986. Courts don't seem to take cognizance of this enormous fact, a fact that would shock the conscience of even a corrupt judge. But courts are not in a hurry to decide these things. Courts are in a hurry to decide whether a person, a terrorist, should be hanged even at the last moment. They convene midnight hearings and all that. But 1954 Shirur Mutt judgment, the Honorable Constitution Bench of Supreme Court declared the sections notifying a temple and taking them over, 6 sections in Chapter 6 of the 1951 Act, as unconstitutional. And immediately 50 temples in Tamil Nadu, including the Meenakshi Sundareswara temple, the Payani temple, the Tiruchendur temple, the Tiruvannamali temple, the Srirangam temple, all big temples, they should have come out of government control. The government continued to hold them. In 1965, on 10th February, the order extending the control of government in these temples, where the provisions were already struck down, were again quashed by Supreme Court, 4 judges of the Supreme Court. The government did not leave the temples. They amended the act and say the notification will continue, notwithstanding any judgment of any court. It is an affront on the majesty of the Supreme Court. Did the judges bother to hear this? Nothing happened. And the Hindus, as Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati used to say, Hindus are mandus and blissfully ignorant. And in 1993, again, a division bench of Madras High Court said the amendments are unconstitutional. The HR&C department went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court in 2003 kicked out that SLP. But the government still continues in these temples without even an order of appointment of executive officer that is ever passed under any of the enabling provisions of the Act. This is a trickery of the highest order against the Hindus, carried out by a government which are expected to uphold a constitutional thing. And in 1965, the same constitutional bench of the Supreme Court said, before appointing an executive officer, you have to make a case for it in the Vaideshwaran temple judgment. But in the Andhra Act, there is a section 29 which says there shall be an executive officer for every temple. This is completely against the law laid down by Supreme Court. And this was challenged by Dr. Swamy, this was challenged by Dayananda Saraswati before Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court does not want to hear it. They say go to the High Courts. And there is a SLP of the High Court which was decided against the Hindus, and for which a review is still pending in Supreme Court. How can they again go to High Court? In 2001, the division bench of Madras High Court decided that two provisions, one provision appointing executive officer and one provision appointing trustees to the temple in the Pondicherry Act, the Puducherry Government Act, are unconstitutional. 2001 it was declared. And that case was again languishing in Supreme Court, and it was tagged with the Puja Swamiji's case. But the judges say go to Madras High Court. How can we go to Madras High Court? Madras High Court already decided the Puducherry provisions are unconstitutional. There are serious flaws in the judgment which came now on 1st April. Very apt date for Hindus who are being continued to be fooled by governments after governments, not just the Congress government. Anyway, we need to rethink the whole strategy, and Dr. Swamy used to say that Article 31A 1B in the Constitution allows only a limited period of takeover of any property, for reasons of better management or for public good. Now, if it is not limited period, it will be hit by Article 14. That's what the court says, that's what the Constitution says. But it will not only be hit by Article 14. As far as temples are concerned, unlike other properties, unlike companies or cooperative societies or banks, if temples are taken over, it will be hit by Article 26. Because the property right under Article 26 is a fundamental property. It's not a 300-A property right, constitutional right. It's a fundamental right. Hindus have the fundamental right to manage their own institutions, of course, in accordance with law. That means you have to pay the taxes, you have to follow the municipal rules, you have to ensure that there is no tampering of public order, morality, and health. If COVID comes and the temples are to be closed, so also mosques and churches. It's a matter of health. If there is a riot that's breaking out because of a festival, then the collector or the authority there can ban the festival. That is law and order. So these are principles that are applicable to every religion, not just Hindu religion. So you can't take over, and you can take over only, the Chidambaram temple judgment clearly says, only if there is serious instances of proven mismanagement. And the takeover is not for general administration of the temple, it is for curing the specific instances of mismanagement. Let's say in the 10-day Brahmotsavam festival, there is mismanagement or there is serious misappropriation. Then your takeover is limited to that festival alone, not the general. That has come out clearly in the Chidambaram temple judgment. So in many respects, it is the Gita. And we have not taken proper advantage of it. We have a sense that Hindus, temple worshipping of these Hindus, people who believe that Hinduism has to be protected, the culture has to be protected, their places of worship, temples have to be protected. The prana pradishta of the Bhagwan in the temple, the sanctity has to be protected. The established traditions, the puja methods, the agamas, the Vedas, the individual puja paddhati of each temple, they have to be protected. They have to seriously think. They just can't go to the temple and if somebody shows some arati, then that job is not over. As Dr. Swamy said, the temple is much more than a prayer hall or assembly of worship or whatever. They are the hub of our culture. In Tamil Nadu, no village is there you can find without temples being there. But today, thousands and thousands of temples are in ruins in Tamil Nadu and in Andhra because the lakhs of acres of the agriculture and other lands endowed to the temples are under encroachment. And the due income therefrom is not realized by those who came into the temple saying that we will give better management. Where 6,000 crores have to come for Tamil Nadu temples, the HRNC is realizing 200 crores. This means it is robbing Hindus of 6,000 crores. In Tamil Nadu, I will say it with a bang on the table, missionary agenda is being pursued by the DMK government regarding temples. They do not want temples to flourish. In the hundreds of thousands of acres of land, of which a good chunk of them have become semi-urban lands, we can build warehouses, we can build greenhouses, we can do some scientific farming, we can grow trees, we can build schools, colleges, and hospitals with the joint ventures, which will serve the Hindu population. In Kerala, Padmanabha Swami temple wealth can be secured in the temple itself, and RBI can issue quasi-currency bonds to the tune of 300,000 crores and giving 4.5% tax-free interest on that quasi-currency bonds. Padmanabha Swami can earn 13,500 crore rupees per annum without any overhead expenses. This will bring renaissance to Kerala, which is much required there. The Kerala Hindus are in a siege, and you can't help Dharma without Artha. We need Artha for Dharma to flourish, the right kind of Dharma to flourish. Kerala Hindus are somehow keeping their faith intact, but they need to be helped. And who can help them? The Union Government of India, which entered into a covenant where they took over the Travancore kingdom and the Cochin kingdom. They have a duty cast upon them. Why should the Padmanabha temple wealth, which was kept in a very, very secret manner, when after being exposed, why should it still lie idle? It can benefit Hindus. So the temples in South India have the potential to get $6 billion worth of annual income, and this can be used for dharmic purposes. This can be used to employ 100,000 Hindus by building institutions. Hindus have failed a lot in building institutions. We have to take a cue from the Jesuits and other sections of the Catholics and other Christians who have built too many schools, too many colleges to propagate their religion. Why should we send our children to their schools? We should educate our children without serious expenses and imbibe our values in our schools run by temples.
Yes.
We should ensure that our children, boys and girls, grow up being faithful to our devatas, being faithful to our culture, being faithful to Bharat Mata. That has not been the case in the last 2 generations. But we have the wherewithal to bring that. And because of temples. But as long as the temples are under the Dravidian movement or under other governments or even under false Hindutva governments, we will not be able to achieve that. We can't be forever sleeping. We have a wonderful judgment in the Chidambaram temple case. The Supreme Court has declared as law. Whatever Supreme Court brings out as judgment, that becomes law. And we should make use of it. We should get some excellent alternate management system. When Hindus can be CEOs of top 50 companies in the world, why can't they come out with superb management system for temples? Of course, no temple are alike. Tirupati will be different from Payani, and Payani will be different from Padmanabha Swami temple and all. So you have to think local while acting global. We need to do that, and we have to change gears in our fight to release temples. And we have to ask any person coming to seek our votes, what are you going to do about our temples? Why are you not releasing them? We should start that as a movement. And because we are weak because our temples are not tapped to the potential. The temples are not bringing us a network of Hindus. We are weak. And because we are weak, that ministers like Ponmudi are making speeches, obscene speeches, and they are and they are making such obscene speeches about Saivism and Vaishnavism. This is impermissible at all. That's because we are weak. The former minister like A. Raja says, you should not wear tilak on your forehead. Whereas PTR Panivel Rajan doesn't come to anywhere out of his house without a big kumkum on his forehead. We have to pull up these charlatans, and we have to be proud of our temples. We have to recoup our temples. We have to see that every temple in the village built by our ancestors are functional. Dr. Swamy can guide us extremely well in this, but we need to support him. We need to say we are standing by Dr. Swamy. That is very important. We should not be ingrates. The Jallikattu case was won by Dr. Swamy, but does anyone acknowledge that? The Jallikattu case is a big victory. Only Dr. Swamy argued that on Article 29(1). Nobody did. And Justice Nariman, he accepted that argument. Because 29(1) is not even subject to public order or morality or health. That's a pure fundamental right. So we should acknowledge Dr. Swamy's Himalayan efforts to preserve our culture, our temples, save our temples and all that, including Ram Setu and all. We should also support him. We should give him we should come and tell him we are supporting you. That much at least Hindus can do. So I think I have spoken a lot, but the 1st April judgment of the Supreme Court relegating the petitions filed by Pujya Swami Dayan Saraswati and 2 more Acharyas and Dr. Swamy and the Ahobilam Acharya and some other persons is extremely unfortunate. The Additional Solicitor General of the Union government did not support these petitions, did not support freeing of temples. On the other hand, I don't know if it is ethically allowed. He said, I'm representing one of the respondents, which is Puducherry government, as well as the Union government. I don't know how he can do that. I think it is ethically wrong. And end of the day, 2022 Union government was implemented as a party because the fundamental rights were in different levels, different shades, and different percentages across the states vis-a-vis temple rights. So central government was made a party by Supreme Court, and it was asked more than once to file a reply. They never filed a reply. Now we know why. So we have to get our temples, and it can never be given an indifferent treatment. By Dr. Swamy's guidance, I got the Pioneer Temple, the biggest temple in terms of devotee visits and the income in Tamil Nadu. The presence of executive officer declared to be illegal. 20 September, I got this judgment. The Tamil Nadu government and HRNC commissioner rushed to the court and obtained a stay order. But in the final judgment, the division bench refused to set aside the order of the learned single judge. But the executive officer shamelessly continues there.
Yes.
In a small temple in Basan Nagar, Chennai, the learned single judge said if the executive officer is there for 5 years, let him get out. He has become functus officio. He cannot continue. They did not go. They filed an appeal 1 year later. The division bench also affirmed the judgment. They did not go. Then the temple trustees filed a contempt. And the learned bench gave one opportunity to the commissioner. Still, they did not go. In the next hearing, the judge said, now it is 1 o'clock. We are going to again convene after the lunch period. If by 2:15 the handover has not started, you better bring a set of clothes. We are sending you to Podal jail. They told the commissioner, who was summoned to the court. Then panic struck HRNC. They want to say, sir, please take over. Please take over the temple back, and we are ready to hand over and all. So court should send a few officials to jail, not only for disobeying court orders, but also for misappropriating temple money and interfering in the religious matters and all that. Then I think we can also appreciate the courts. Till then, they can't be turning the other side. When there are precedents, when there are judgments like the Chidambaram temple judgment, the court should apply them.
Yeah.
After saying I've spoken too much, I have spoken 10 minutes. Thank you, Dr. Swamy, for the opportunity, and it's always a pleasure and an honor to be with you in this.
Ramesh, just hang on before you go. Dr. Swamy, your thoughts first, and then we'll take a couple of questions.
I want to improve on what he said. It was a first-class, analysis, and I think others should now speak. I can't add anything to what he said.
So, Dr. Swamy, my question is to you, and then also TR, you can jump in. Ramesh, you can also jump in. What can be done to undo what happened on April 1st? Is something can ever be done, and by whom? To undo what was done on April 1st.
You mean yeah, my personal view is that if you were to try to undo it, that will take a much longer period than if you go to the Madras High Court and get it either accepted, or to say, no, this is something which the High Court should do it. I am right now in consultation with some of the top lawyers of the country, and we will decide. My inclination is to go there, because if you disobey the order of the Supreme Court, you have to give a lot of explanations. It's better that we go. We were saying that we have come under protest. We think it's wrong, and therefore the High Court itself should declare that the matter, because of Sabanagar and other judgments, this too comes under that, and then we come back to the Supreme Court, and by then the changes in the Supreme Court too, and we'll get a better deal. I mean, that's how I would like to approach the matter. I'm talking to others. I will certainly be consulting Ramesh also as to what he thinks, because he's already an expert on Tamil Nadu, because he has gone into great detail, sweated it all out. So we'll also talk to him, and then finally decide whether we are going to go to the High Court or not High Court, or going to the High Court to get an order that there is, since the Supreme Court has decided this matter, there is no scope for the High Court to pass any order.
Ramesh, your thoughts?
Yes, adding to Dr. Swamy's thing, while addressing 10 minutes ago, I said we need to change gears. We need to challenge the provisions that are unconstitutional. We could also challenge certain actions of the government or certain temple where they are present illegally. Zia-ul Haq said, I cannot defeat India, but I'll give it 1,000 cuts. I'm not supporting the statement, but there's something to think about. One of my petitions pending in High Court from 2020 is a petition where in 70 places the HRNC executive officers are functioning without any order of appointment of such appointment. So we need to pull out those cases and say, hey, show me the order by which you are functioning in Srirangam. Show me the order by which you're functioning. So we can individually boot them out also. But still, the government will be appointing their puppets as trustees, and they will try to do a lot of harm. So we have to challenge the provisions. But I was also thinking if we can go for a clarification to Supreme Court and say that this is already 13 years. So can you add in your order that High Courts should hear and decide this matter within 6 months? Something to that effect, if you can ask the Supreme Court. And in all fairness, they should allow that prayer. Because 13 years have gone by, And during the 13 years, the Supreme Court itself already gave interim order saying that there will be final hearing. There will be final hearing. That has been put to naught. So we can, as millions and millions of Hindus are affected, we can ask the Supreme Court fix a short period for hearing this. Let the High Court form a bench and have special sittings, and in 4 or 5 sittings this can be done.
I'm examining the possibility of having a review petition.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Which is also permitted Supreme Court.
It is also Supreme
Go,
Court. Not usually.
Go to the same judges, and if that doesn't work, then there's another level where new judges will be brought in and the old judges will be taken out. So I haven't made up my mind, and certainly I'm in Madras on the 24th, so 25th. So that time I'll contact you and see whether...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. By Nataraja's grace, I should again work under your tutelage. In fact, I'm in Delhi now.
One other question for both of you. Whatever this April 1st, can the central government, Modi's government, pass any order that can just nullify all of this and just say HR&C Act is null and void across the board? Can they pardon?
No, they can't say like that. In my opinion, sorry, Dr. Swamy should say this, but
I agree.
But see, the subject of religious endowments, that where the temples and everything comes, is a concurrent subject. Okay, so the center can legislate, can also legislate, and when the center legislates, it will rise above the state legislation. So center has an advantage there. But will the center do it is the question, number one. Number two, there are certain acts which have been exempted by the State Religious Endowments Act. They say the 1920 Act will not apply. The Civil Procedure Code so-and-so provisions will not apply. How can the state get exemption from central laws and certain provisions of Civil Procedure Code? When they make that provision, the act goes for presidential assent. That means the central government's assent. And when the assent is given, they get the exemption. That exemption can be withdrawn. There are many ways of doing it. The center can issue a notification saying, okay, you take over temples for better management or correcting mismanagement. You do it only for 1 year. In cooperative societies, you take only for 6 months. RBI takes over banks only for 6 months. It is not the job of the company law board to run companies. It is not the job of RBI to run banks. Why should HR&C departments run temples? They can issue a notification saying, okay, you take over for reasons of proven mismanagement, but you take over only for 6 months. And if you want another 6 months extension, go to court and get it. Center can come with a single provision like that. That can do a lot of changes.
Yeah. We'll discuss.
Swami, your thoughts on what can the central government do?
I don't want the central government to do anything. This is an open shut case for us, you see.
Okay.
Either I go on a review, which means it goes to the same judges, but now the judges know that there's been a lot of rebuke in the legal peoples on this, and maybe they will. I'll give them some new things which I couldn't raise it last time, and that they can take that and correct it, or we go to a higher level after failing at the review, and there is another provision there in the Supreme Court orders. I mean Supreme Court law, and so I'm not in a position to give you a clear answer because
understandable, quite understandable, sir. Yeah. अरविंद जी, आप कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं? आप हिंदी में बात कीजिए ना, so सब दर्शकों को पता चल जाएगी कि हम
Thank you. I was a little hesitant. I do not know whether Mr. Ramesh will understand Hindi.
Then I'll understand.
No, he won't reply in Hindi, but at least to some extent you can briefly tell the
let
people.
let me tell you, both Dr. Swamy and Mr. T.R. Ramesh, the information which you have provided in the last 50 minutes in this program is a treasure for anybody who is interested in the temple issue and the issue of temple takeover by the government. There are many issues people are not aware of. A common devotee who goes to the temple is not, I mean, you said millions and billions of Hindus are affected, but are they really affected? They do not even have the information. Dr. Swamy has taken this case of Uttarakhand takeover Devasthanam Act, and this Pandarpur media has been highlighting. Ramesh, you have been taking up this issue in Tamil Nadu for several years now, for several temples now. People there are aware. But again, I am saying, जो common devotee है, जो कॉमन भक्त है, साधारण आदमी है, उसको मंदिर के टेक ओवर का इशू कितना असर डालता है उनके ऊपर, ये उनको नहीं पता. Ramesh, T.R. Ramesh has given one very significant example of Padmanabhan temple in Kerala. He says 300,000 crores of money can be used by RBI, and 13,500 crores can be per annum can be used and utilized. ये हिंदू भक्तों के ये पैसा है. Any devotee, whosoever, whatever be the income of this person, even if the person is earning 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 rupees or 20 lakhs of rupees, whenever a person goes to the temple, they offer money to the deity. And this money belongs to the country. This money belongs to the people. This money belongs to Hindus. And governments, after taking over, are not utilizing this money, as Mr. Ramesh pointed out, that if this money of one temple, 13,500 crores per annum, can be utilized for opening orphanages, opening the charitable institutions, opening schools, colleges, hospitals, and all that. So much money. Now the question is, government takes the course of Article 25(2) of the Constitution. They say under Article 25(2), the government can take over. Of course, Dr. Swamy has clarified. We have discussed this issue on earlier programs also. Today was very, very important day in the light of April 1 judgment. Also, we are discussing this. Dr. Swamy has highlighted this, that why governments, how long can government take over a temple? Not permanently. The issue is, today, if I look at the big temples, only big temples, not a small, Vaishno Devi Shrine, from 1986 onwards, it is under control of the government. The Shrine Board is appointed by the government. Indirectly, directly, it is under control of the government because the Shrine Board members are also nominated by the government. Tirupati Devasthanam, Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, we know TTD. Dr. Swamy has been fighting the case also for Tirupati also. There have been issues in the appointment of the executive officers and others, and there have been several issues. Last year we had the Laddu controversy and all that. This is also in the control of the government. Somnath Temple in Gujarat, which is also under the government control, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the chairman of the trust of Somnath Temple. And earlier, of course, I know Keshubhai Patel used to be the chairman of the trust. After his demise, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has got nominated himself. What interest he has, I do not know. And how much time he has, I do not know. But look at the Kashi Vishwanath Temple. Yeah. That is also, the board is appointed by the government. I think except all, Badrinath, Kedarnath, all temples that you talk about, except I think the Mathura Krishna Janmabhoomi temple, which is run by a trust. And this trust is independent of the government so far. And looking at the interest, I think government will also take over the appointment and the thing. Now the issue is, what can common Hindu do? आपने दयानंद सरस्वती जी का उदाहरण, स्वामी दयानंद सरस्वती ने इतना हिंदू समाज की सेवा की, सनातन धर्म की सेवा की. He took up this issue and this is lying in the court for 13 years. I can understand what DMK is doing in Tamil Nadu.
Exactly.
DMK is anti-Hindu. DMK has interests. You said one cannot understand, they don't want temples to flourish. DMK, very clear. But what about BJP? In more than 13, 14 states, we have BJP government. In the central, we have BJP government for 11 years now. And they claim, as Dr. Swamy said in the manifesto, that they will release the temples which are under government control, and still they're not doing it. If Dr. Swamy had not gone to the court, even Uttarakhand, they have overtaken 104 temples in Uttarakhand alone.
Yes.
Now, question is again coming back: what are the Shankaracharyas doing? What are the Hindu Dharmacharyas doing? T.R. Ramesh, Dr. Swamy, and some other people like you at the small scale. Dr. Swamy, of course, is a nationally known figure, and he has been doing this. But what about Hindu Dharmacharyas? Why don't they start a movement and organize Hindus? If Waqf Board Amendment Act can accommodate all the Muslims and they bring Muslims together and launch a nationwide agitation, why can't Hindus come together and launch themselves into an agitation all over the country that all the temples under government control should be released? Number one. Number two, I have a suggestion. I want reaction from both of you and Ramesh also. The suggestion is all those temples which are under government control, where there is no transparency of the funds utilization, which devotees funds actually, devotees money, devotees wealth, if they are not utilized, can or should the devotees decide that henceforth they will go to the temple to seek the blessings of the deity, but will not give even a single paisa in donation? Because as long as it is under government control, no money will be donated to these temples. Will that work? I don't know. Will that work? And certainly,
one consequence will be that the government will make sure that you can't enter the temple unless you put money in the entrance fee. See.
and,
So-
and
It's already
India,
there in churches. Dr. Swamy, if you notice, if you go to the church, right, when you attend a service, they come around with the bowl. You have to put money in it. Very simple.
Yeah, but
We don't have that rule. In temples,
that,
we don't have that rule.
that goes to the church. But here, the government will take it all.
Yeah,
They'll
yeah.
put it-
correct. That's what I'm saying. So if Hindus say, as long as government is utilizing government control, government has control over this money,
Right.
we are not going to give this money.
Yeah.
Not a single paisa will be given to the temple trust or temple hundis or dan patra or wherever it is, as long as government.
That's not practical.
What we should publicize that these are the big temples, these are the medium-sized temples, small temples which are under government control. Henceforth, no Sanatani Bhakt, no Hindu devotee should give any money to these temples.
Arvindji,
Instead, they can start a fund which is separate fund which is collected for Sanatan board, and this money should go to Sanatan board instead of going to the temple which are under government control.
Arvindji, one before because we're again today, Dr. Swamy and Ramesh, I'm going to make a statement. This April 1st judgment is to a large extent the betrayal of BJP of Hindus, Dr. Swamy. They are based on what Ramesh said.
BJP lawyers all supported it.
Correct. That's a total betrayal of Hindus. This Modi government is nothing but it's just naam ke vaste. It's to say only they have only Ram in their tongue, not in their heart. They just want to use Ram for votes.
Also, they tried to stop it.
Stop it.
I managed to
Betrayal,
get them out of it. That was the Guru Murthy from Tamil Nadu.
Viewers need to understand that the Modi government has resulted in this complete betrayal of what has been fought for so long.
Uttarakhand also same thing. It was Modi who did it. Modi and now Amit Shah.
Right. So
In Somnath temple, Dalkishan Advani, Amit Shah, Modi, all our members are there.
Yeah, that's right.
In Somnath temple, they are the members.
Yeah.
On 1st April, the DMK government's lawyers, they had engaged 3 senior counsels. They never had occasion even to open their mouth because things were going in their favor.
Yeah, the government was doing everything for them.
And they were watching the whole proceedings in glee. Of course, they would have charged heavily the governments, and probably some temple money has gone to pay their fees also. But you know, the hundi mindset will not change in the devotees. People still have a hundi at home, and once a year they bring it and empty the contents in the temple, and that is not easy to change. What we should do is, in 1951, the government was charging 3% of the temple income as administration fee. Now, we didn't ask them to come and administer us, but still they were taking 3% fee. Today in Tamil Nadu, it's 12% plus 4% audit fee, 16%. In Andhra, it is 21%, 1/5 of the income. We should quickly file a writ petition challenging only that. You are illegally present, and for being illegally present, you are charging us, you are fleecing us. So we have to have this incisive but very strong cases, small portions of the act, certain sections of the act. We should rethink, and I will be most happy and honored to work jointly with Dr. Swamy on this and formulate new strategies.
Arvindji, you can conclude. Ji.
We can rope in some dynamic lawyers like Sai Deepak also, and we can all rally behind Dr. Swamy and be guided by him.
If I'm there, will the Sai Deepak come? Because
why not? Sai Deepak has a great respect and regard for you, sir. I and Sai Deepak came and met you in Patara Road. We took your blessings.
It was some time ago, but just check with him whether he's okay.
I will check with him. I'm in Delhi, in fact. And to answer Professor G, Kanchi Shankaracharya gave a public call during Kumbh for the release of Hindu temples. A huge statement he made, a wonderful statement he made, and he backed that statement with certain facts also. A very, very serious proclamation.
And again,
so other acharyas have to
add that,
come together.
He also conducted a big conclave of serious legal remedies last year.
Yes, in Kanchipuram, I was there.
Yeah, he conducted a huge legal symposium. What needs to be done? So it is not as though
he is highly concerned of the maladministration that's going on our temples, the opportunity we are losing, and he wants that to be corrected. And he is definitely in touch with Dr. Swamy, and he has called other lawyers also to come and work for this cause. So we need not depend on any party. We can form our own legal movement.
Yeah, absolutely.
And come out with some certain brahmastras.
Yes.
Pretty sure BJP will be Shakuni in this.
No. Shakuni fell. No. Ultimately, Shakuni died.
But initially, he had to know. I'm just telling you the nature of BJP under Modi's leadership is they will be only like Shakuni is a Brutus. They will only betray you.
He's not going to be very long in the
true, Dr. Swamy. But what I'm trying to say is they will act as betrayers. That's my point.
Well, for the next 1 month they can, but not.
Okay. Yes, Ramesh, you conclude it, and then Arvindji will finish. Okay, go ahead.
No, I would definitely like Dr. Swamy to rethink on the strategy. I understood a bit when Dr. Swamy said, I can't say everything now. I understand that something is working in his mind and he can't reveal all that now. So I'm very, very happy. I see the symptoms of thunder and rain and in oncoming monsoon. So I'm all the more glad for it. And I am ready to abide by his directions and his orders. We will do everything we can to protect our temples, our dharma. But we have to empower temples with wealth, the fair income, and some extraordinary income like the Padmanabha Swamy opportunity. we have to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Arunji, please conclude.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have already covered more than 75 minutes. Already we are late for this program, but there's so much to be said and so much to be discussed on this issue because it concerns 100 crores of Hindus in this country, and each one of us is concerned about how the misuse of the money which is gathered by the temples is being done by the government which have taken over. So this issue is so much important. And thank you, Mr. T.R. Ramesh, for joining us. You have been here earlier in this program also. And as I said earlier, Dr. Swamy initiated this discussion, who has been pioneer in this movement. Mr. T.R. Ramesh, your contribution in this temple takeover movement has been very significant, and everybody in this country knows. In fact, there have been questions here from the viewers also that whether Mr. T.R. Ramesh is willing to help people outside his state of Tamil Nadu also, if there are some people who are willing to take up this issue.
Quick answer to that question. Quick answer to the question. The Travancore Cochin Religious Institutions Act.
Yes.
Mr. Mohandas from Kerala has filed a case, and Dr. Swamy is a party in this case. Dr. Swamy has taken the case to Supreme Court.
Yes, that's right.
I and a few others are going to challenge the Guruvayur Temple Act and the Kodalmanikam Act in Kerala. So we are going outside a thing, and in Karnataka also we will engage ourselves. Bhagwan has to give us strength and his Ashirwad. That's it. That's all we ask.
So that is an answer for the viewer who was asking this. Mr. T.R. Ramesh has already crossed boundaries of Tamil Nadu, and he is now indulging in cases which are takeover of temples in Kerala and Karnataka, and he is willing to help. Dr. Swamy is always there. He is available in Delhi 24/7 for the cause of Hindu religion, and both of them together. I'm sure this movement should not be lost. We should continue this, and as Mr. Ramesh said, even if there are Shankaracharyas who are in favor or some other Hindu gurus who are in favor, this movement should not be lost, and we should get all interested parties together and start a movement and take this on a collective basis rather than on an individual basis. Thank you, Dr. Swamy. Thank you, Mr. T.R. Ramesh. Thank you, Ramesh Swamy. And thank the technical team for bringing this program together. We have already completed 266 episodes today. Thanks the technical team led by Ashish Shetty, Swaminathan, Tejas Navalgul, Gadgi Rakesh, Ishwar Iyer, Ajesh Nair, and Gurdat Shetty.
And we miss our what shall I say? Our leading horse.
Jagdish.
Jagdish can't pretend there was technical reason today. For technical reasons,
it's not his fault. There was some technical thing. So we should not forget in the conclusion.
And this program I'm sure will go a long way in fighting this cause of takeover of Hindu temples by state governments and the central government not interfering it. So let's express a resolve that we will fight this issue under the leadership of Dr. Swamy, also heavily assisted by Mr. T.R. Ramesh and others who are there in the. We'll be meeting again in the Words of Wisdom Gyan Ganga next episode to number 267 next week, Sunday 8 p.m. Till then, Namaskar, Jai Hind.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. Jai Shri Ram.
See you soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, Dr. Swamy.